Don't play it. Don't play it. Don't play it. Oh, thank God. Alright. Now let me check the thing real quick. For those who are watching this on the VOD, in case you see this, I just don't want intruders, just because we're trying to record this pre-recorded, so you'll see it dropped as is. So, thankfully nobody dropped in. Sorry about that, if that's so. Now, me and Libra are here to review all 3 Fate Stay Night Heaven's Fields movies. So tell me, what did you think of all 3 of them?
I enjoyed them a lot. They were very entertaining, actually.
And what did you think of them on the philosophical level with what they bring up on philosophy and stuff?
It was basically mind-blowing, like,
How Shiro would give up his ideals to protect Sakura, possibly becoming a hypocrite. And originally in one of them, Archer wants to kill him to prevent himself from becoming a hero, to create, you know what I mean, so that the hero Shiro Emiya does not exist. And in that verse, since, you know, he gave up being a hero to save Sakura, that Archer has no reason to do it. And plus he saw his determination and got infected by the mud. Well, I'm skipping straight to spoilers, by the way, so spoilers are good. Watch the movies, okay? Watch the movies. This will be loaded with spoilers, okay? So before I get to the big meat, I'm just going to explain a little bit of Archer's Otis Mondorandi and his motivations. He originally, in all 3 routes, well, except for the Fates route, in Unlimited Blade Works route, he's an asshole. He's more cynical than I am. That's the reason why my picture's Archer. He's deep. Ugh. He is literally Shiro from the future to become a counter guardian, who made a deal with basically the devil of the planet, because the planet's an asshole, and to, Lord knows, watch Unlimited Budget Works, okay, Libra? Watch Unlimited Budget Works. You gotta watch it, because it's, like, the best. But, basically, Archer is Shiro from the future, an alternate version of him, of what he would strive to become. He became the ideal, the hero of justice, but at a cost at realizing you cannot save everybody.
Oh, man.
So, he saw the worst of humanity, and what the planet does is it teleports you throughout time. Guardians, counter-guardians, which is what Archer was, are removed from the axis of time. You cannot be. You are not. You do not ascend to the throne of heroes. You officially become the planet's janitor, the weapon of the planet. Anytime the planet, say the planet Earth, because apparently Earth has a will, and there's the Guardian Force and the Counter Force, and what Shiro became was the Guardian Force. And Shiro, from the Fate route, basically achieved it and became a Counter Guardian. That's what happened at the end of the Fate route, and then Unlimited Blade Works happens, and yeah, there's various versions of Shiro's. It's multiverse. It's hard to explain, but each different one is almost basically its own self-contained story. So, but what Shiro Emiya is, why he could get the arm transfer successfully, and why, you know, even Kira says, "Yo, you look like twins," is they're the same person. So when Shiro lost his arm to the mud or whatever, Archer was already heavily infected by the mud, or was getting there, and so he basically cuts his own arm off and basically goes to Ryder, says, attach my arm on here, takes him to Kyrie, and Kyrie basically seals what the tape was. It's not fully explained in the movies, which pissed me off. Was the only gripe I have with the movies. Well, they made Shiro
I think it was to prevent him from basically being destroyed, because
yeah,
if he took it off, it would have destroyed him.
If he takes a shard off, he gains full access to Archer's memories. You know what I mean? Because Archer is him. He's an alternate version of him. So, of course, you could have basically an arm transplant to a degree, okay? He retained all of Archer's knowledge and weaponry, access to Unlimited Blade Works, which isn't properly utilized or some in the thing, unfortunately. Unlimited Blade Works, the reality module and stuff. But Because of that, the price he has to pay, he really does have to pay a price, because you can't, you know, acceptably have that kind of thing and not have a consequence to it. Because what the consequence is, the ramification is, anytime he unseals his arm or adds access to Archer's memories, it shatters more of his mind. He loses memories every time. That's why by the end of the third one, he looks at Ryder and goes, please take whoever that is out of here. And he can only vaguely, if that, remember Sakura.
Oh, man.
And you're probably wondering, well, how does he come back? His body was full-blown destroyed. What Ilya did was use the third magic and saved his soul, and they got a puppet and stuck his soul in the puppet body. Via the third
I saw
magic.
that.
Via the third magic. And Ilya is actually his older sister. She's Kirisu's actual daughter. Yeah. But the Iceburns were assholes and locked Kirisu from ever seeing his daughter again after the end of Heaven, Fate Zero. And Fate Zero is, if you think philosophy was heavy in these three movies, oh, Fate Zero shoves philosophy to the extreme. It actually makes you think on a few things. So, but Fate Zero literally is the prequel to the entirety of the Fate series, and it just is one massive build-up. So you're spoiling yourself to the Fate series in general. What would be, but like I said, it's up to you, people who enjoy it. I know a ton of the original base Fate lore, because I played the visual novel. And the visual novel, for those who want to get into it, it's unofficially translated. It was translated by a group of fan translators known as Mirror Mirror. It has the word count of the equivalent of The Hobbit and all three Lord of the Rings books. And maybe one of the auxiliary works. That's the word count of those three books. Of it in general. It's insane, the word count. So, but what did you think of the action scenes? This is made by Ufotable, by the way. Ufotable does a damn good job at animating anything.
It was really good. I liked everything.
When the fight scenes happened, what did you think of the fight scenes? Because the fight scenes are what they excelled at in Fate. Everybody, like, for unlimited budget works, there's this scene where Archer will throw his two swords, and the camera follows the swords to person, and then follows them on the way as they come back to Archer.
We should be safe now.
The camera does a total 180.
It was really brilliant. Anytime that I saw a battle, it was like, I almost felt like I was in there, sort of, like just spectating.
They're works of art. It's like a feast for the eyes. No, I'm not trying to be like, you know, edgy or something when I say that. No, it's just like, oh my god, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm so glad I watched all three of them.
And I recommended you. I said, dude, if you want to watch the Fate series, watch either Unlimited Budget Works or Heaven's Field all 30 movies. And Heaven's Field all 30 movies is equivalent of basically one season, but you can watch like one movie. Okay, I've watched one movie. I'll wait a day or two. I'll watch the second movie. And when you get to the second movie, it's like, where's part 3? Because, ooh, that stinger at the end of part 2. Feel for the people that had to wait for 3 to come out. So when 3 came out, I watched them all dubbed because I like the dub voice actors. Now,
Same.
I've watched them all in sub as well, so don't think I'm one of those sub haters. No, I've watched it in sub. I watched it when it first came out, all 3 of them freaking sub. Because this is Heaven's Field. One of my favorite routes of the visual novel. Because Shiro's an effing beast. Did you see what he was able to project and use against Berserker?
Yeah, I saw that.
He copied his own damn sword against him, his original sword, and used its abilities against him to take all 9 of his lives. And did you see Boaius?
Yes.
Boaius is basically a shield that was used to stop a certain blade in the Trojan Wars. Archer has a massive arsenal. If you remember Lancer, you've seen Gale Bolg, right? Gale Bolg, and this is a small spoiler for Unlimited Budget Works, which is why I recommend it. He throws Gale Bolg, and Bow Ice barely blocks it, barely stops it. It destroys almost Bow Ice, but all it did was just stop it, because once you throw Gale Bulk, it won't stop till it kills its target. When Lancer uses that Phantasm. That's why, like, when I play as Mai, I like using her Gale Bulk, because that's literally Gale Bulk. It will track the opponent down.
I hated what's her name's brother. I fucking hated him.
Oh, Shinji!
I wanted him to die.
When he died, were you so happy when he died? Did he have one of those deaths where
it's
you
just
just
too bad.
cheered?
It's too bad his sister had to do it. Then she got corrupted.
No. That made it more sweeter, Libra.
I know, but like she became really stupid evil, and then like
she didn't actually become pure stupid evil. She was already going mentally insane. You remember that, right?
True.
She was going mentally insane. She was so unstable, she wasn't realizing she was killing people en masse. She took Shiro's own arm. The man she loves, she gobbled his arm, and she wanted Ilya in the third movie because Ilya is a Grail too, and she's absorbed Archer.
Oh,
which
man.
would mean that she already knows what Archer was, and did become. Ilya is a lesser Grail, and so is that, and they become two different Holy Grails. You know what? Kirei had a really interesting point about how in the final battle he goes, yes, this is evil, but does it make it evil because it's not even born yet? You get what I'm saying?
I remember that philosophy.
It's like, this is going to be born, and Shiro's like, it's going to be born of pure, unadulterated evil. But Kirei's like, hold on, how do you know it'll be evil? Just because it's created by nothing but evil doesn't, and it's not even born yet, so it's still a babe, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be pure evil. Which it would be. The Twisted Grail actually destroyed half of Fuyuki City. So yeah, you were going to face a massive catastrophe if that thing came to the Earth. So, but Kirei has an absolutely good point. A philosophical, moral question, you know what I mean? Just because I can give you a very real life. If your two parents are purely evil, and you're conceived by those two pure evil people, will that make that baby evil? That's basically Kirei's argument in a nutshell. And he's like, you're going to condemn something that's not even born yet, because your suspicion is, even though we know probably about a 90% chance that this thing's going to cause a massive catastrophe, take many lives, but does that necessarily make it evil? And, Shiro even points out, you're right, and at the end of the day, Kirei died standing. That's beast. Can you admit it? Kirei was a freaking beast in that final fight.
What I got from it is, nobody's born evil, and we're not born evil or good. That's what I got.
It's up to us to decide.
Uh-huh.
You make your own decisions, but in that case, if it was born, it would cause a massive catastrophe. But I'm just saying, from
that universe, yes.
Yes, from a moralistic, philosophical point, Kirei actually had a pretty good point, a good argument, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying I technically agree with it. You know what I mean? Still really messed up, but I can't argue when there's a point to be had. And that was another interesting philosophy of the third one. And even Sakura goes, for all the things will I be forgiven. It also dives into the concept, are sins ever forgiven? The horrors that we as humans do. Do we get forgiveness? And Shiro's like, well, I'll forgive you. It doesn't mean everybody else will. But I can make sure you don't go this way again. And then he technically dies. In case you don't know, the original ending is she goes slightly insane. No. When I mean slightly insane, she stays at Shiro's house, inherits the house, and everyone grows old, and like either has kids or something. She just grows old and dies and goes insane. It's slightly realistic of what would happen if Shiro wasn't able to return. She would lose her mind from grief. She even says that in the movie. If you didn't return, I would have lost my mind of just sheer grief of all the sins I committed. And she kind of does in the base ending. In the perfect ending, you get what you saw in the movie. That's the perfect ending. Unlimited Blade Works has the perfect ending and the base ending. The base ending goes straight into an epilogue, actually, in Unlimited Budget Works. I call it Unlimited Budget Works because of the art, which is so goddamn gorgeous. Ufotable, when they make a Fates work, they make a good work. I think they're the same team that makes Demon Slayer.
Ah.
I think that's why the artwork seemed familiar to you. Did it to you?
Actually, I never caught on to that.
No, the how the fight scenes were beautifully made.
Oh, the fight scenes themselves.
If I think it's made by Ufotable, which I'm not, I can't entirely remember.
Well, at first I didn't get it. At first, if it was created by the same people that made Demon Slayer, because the way they did the combat looked way different.
No, the animation, not the combat, the animation in general, like how it's nice, sleek, and looks really cool. Like they put a lot of money into it.
I don't know.
I'll have to look at it. Or somebody in the comments type below if it was Ufotable to Demon Slayer. Oh yeah, Demon Slayer's coming out for the PS4 later this year. Get it. It's a Muso game. I believe. Don't quote me.
I'm getting it.
I believe it's getting it because I like Demon Slayer. I might get it. I might want to watch the Demon Slayer movies that are just massive recaps of the arcs.
Then I want to watch the movie that's coming out in... Is it October or November? The movie's coming out somewhere this year.
But anyway, besides that, would you recommend these even full price, these movies?
I'd say yes, just because the production and everything is so awesome.
Because the value you got to buy them as a complete set. Would you recommend someone buy them as a complete set or just separately?
Yes, please.
So
get the whole set.
Because all three are available now, okay? So you can get all three. It's just, I was wondering from Libra, who owns them, I have a copy of them digital by my own methods. So I saw them and I enjoyed every minute of them. I was glad I waited for them. Although I watched them every time they came out because I'm a big Fate Stay Night fan.
The anime movies were worth it in my opinion. I
now don't watch the movie by Studio Dean, which is Unlimited Blade Works, because they just shoved an entire 24 episodes and cut out so much content in like an hour and 30-minute movie. There's only like one good scene in it, and that's the Archer versus Shiro fight. Everything else is crap. Okay, so don't get the Fate Stay Unlimited Blade Works movie. Get the TV show. Made by the same team that made Unlimited Heaven's Field. So you're getting good production. But what did you think of the first movie for it being set up? What did you think of it being set up? There weren't a lot of fights in it, but when they were, was the payoff good?
Yes, it was. It was like, okay, I want to equate. I know this food analogy is kind of a little silly the way I put it. It's like Fate Stay Night is enjoying the appetizer, entree, and then the dessert. That's what I equate it to.
Yeah, because the appetizer and the entree were basically the first movie and a little bit of the second one. Then this great connoisseur ice cream good dessert is the third movie, the massive payoff. It's my turn. And they did a 3-act structure, which is why I suggested they do a movie format. Do you know why they switched to movie instead of TV?
It probably cost down in price. It probably has something to do with that.
They pulled a Deadpool. They made it because they knew they can get away with more content, like more adult content. You know how Sakura is words that rhymes with grape? It is basically implied. It's also implied she really did screw. Well, actually, you kind of see it. You know what I mean? It doesn't imply through Dothra. No, you basically know they did it. They did that. Put it in theaters because they wanted to do a really good Fateful adaptation of the best route. So they had to release it in chunks. Great. Because in theaters, you can get away with that. You know what I mean? Whereas on TV, you would have to like censor or get around it to implications. You know what I mean? So you would have had your normal fights, but you would be missing certain content. It's worth noting in the book, in the visual novel, the Heaven's Field route has the most sex in it because it's supposed to make sense in lore via energy transfer. I would get into that in a whole video on Fate Stay Night. I do a whole video on just the Fate lore jump, the first visual novel. Not Exexia or any of the other crap. Although I do recommend the Muso games, they're fun. So what did you think of Kirei?
Uh, Kyrie?
Kirei.
Is it
Kirei, the priest.
Oh, the priest.
Yeah, Priest Kirei, the monitor, quote unquote, monitor of the game. Yeah, right. You were participating in it secretly. You go straight up to Shiro in the first one. He's like, "Oh yeah, my servant died. I was actually participating in the game secretly. You need to know there's a problem."
He was interesting. There was no character that I should say didn't like.
Oh, Shinji was
That was
written to be
annoying.
hated. He's written to be hated in all three of them. In all three of them, he basically gets his comeuppance in very good ways, just so you know.
Yes.
But in Heaven's Field,
Satisfying.
I cheered when he got those comeuppance. I was a very, very happy person. Especially with, oh god, how do you put it? How Sakura just totally obliterated his ass. You can't tell me you weren't smiling.
I like the guy that turned into bugs. I liked he got killed in the lava too.
Oh yeah, he died a Weasley death in the third movie. I'm like, ha! You got your comeuppance! Anybody we wanted to see get their comeuppance will get their comeuppance in that show. Now, Kirei's the only
Yes.
one, basically how he's written, who I would say doesn't get his comeuppance, but in the same way, he technically was an ally lots of times for Shiro.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of times that his ass would have been screwed. Like, really screwed, if not for the help.
Yeah, this is why I'm glad some people are recommending me certain animes because it's like it helps me avoid the really shitty and cringeworthy ones that I probably would never want to watch.
Yeah, there are many anime I would recommend. Definitely I would recommend watching Unlimited Budget Works when you get the chance, Libra. Picking it up because
Alright.
it's totally worth it. It's the one that takes place. The order of how it goes is the Fate route, which is the only ones that advocates to Studio Dean. Come on, you photo, get on working the Fate route. The Unlimited Blade Works route, which is made by Ufotable, and the Heaven's Field route, which is made by Ufotable. Because one thing Ufotable does is they will follow the source material to a T. So everything you kind of saw in the movies was basically straight from the visual novel. Now, one of the things they kind of take out is Shiro talks in his head a lot. What he still does in the movie, in the show, you know what I mean? I was only peeved by one thing in the movies. It had to do when he first got the bandage on his arm. You know what I mean? Because it's put into a little bit more depth. The curator will flat out says, "Oh, dude, you're gonna get killed. You are so dead." Like, like if you don't go on using this in life, okay, you may live maybe 10 years. You use this, you're gonna die. And you'll die a very, very, very painful death. Probably a pretty worse fate, too. I mean, to be forgotten is worse than death. That is one of the most terrifying fates you can give somebody. Just imagine it. Except it's a bit of the reverse scenario. Now, since you've watched you've already watched the Berserk movies, you enjoyed those, right? Even though the animation is wonky. You say these 3 movies were worth it, and you didn't have to worry about multiple seasons. You could just watch one a day if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, it's not like Hunter x Hunter, which unfortunately I'm gonna have to buy. I still have to buy 3 seasons to finish the whole set.
Or rent them. But anyway, it's a lot easier to watch a movie or a 2-core anime season.
It is. It is.
Now, here's a question I'm going to have to you, since we're basically almost over, because we've said everything about it. I've said, I praise them. I really do. I think they are very good adaptations of the Fate route, and you should buy them at full price. Support those. But, again, as I said, what do you prefer better? These 24-episode shows that are 2-part encores, or watching something like Hunter x Hunter, which is like multiple seasons?
Well, honestly, I would prefer the movie method, but if they can't do it, then I guess I'll watch the episodics.
No, I meant like the span. Like, what I mean, like, you can get, like, you say, you can watch just 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like, just 2 seasons, and you'll get a complete story. Then watching multiple seasons of, like, Hunter x Hunter. Like a 200-some-odd show.
Yeah, I think it's structured more to do season up to season 2 than just volume part 11, 12, 13.
Yep,
bajillion.
like One Piece that just keeps freaking going and going and going and going and going. I will always bring up One Piece. It's over 1,000+ episodes.
That's insane.
Okay, yeah, I'll never watch One Piece just because there's too many things. Now, I'd recommend certain seasonal shows, and one that's already up there that keeps trying to keep up with the content is Reincarnated with Slime. Sword Art Online just finished it, and in my opinion, the first season's crap because it rushes through everything. Second season with the Gun Gale online arc's the best arc, and then you get to about 50 episodes worth of content, which is the Alicization arc, where everybody gets characterization and everybody gets time to shine. Alicization is the best part. After that, that's where I stopped the books. 18, I stopped. I know there's more books. If anybody says anything on Sword Art Online, I'll do a review of Sword Art Online with Libra some other time if he ever decides to watch it. But I would preferably prefer him to watch Alicization arc after he gets done with everything and just review that one. Because that's the one I had the most fun with even reading in the book. God, waiting for every translation to come out was a nightmare. It's right up with ReZero.
You know what I really want to watch next? Because I've been meaning to watch this one. I want to watch Evangelion. I want to.
You want to watch Evangelion. Okay.
Yes.
So viewers who know, he's going to watch Hunter x Hunter. Maybe Evangelion, but I'll try to get him watching a short show between then. Because that would mean I would have to rewatch Evangelion. Okay, yeah. Libra, so I would have to either rewatch Evangelion or Cowboy Bebop or something. Like one of the older ones for us to review again. So, there's that. But don't worry, we'll find something to review again, another anime with me and him. So, as I said, look forward to the next anime review that we do together. And don't think it'll be something like Hunter x Hunter. God, that's too big. Like a small show that, like that's a 2-season encore. Or, you know what I mean, we can do. Those 12-episode shows, the 24-episode shows together. Or movies, trilogies, like the Berserk Golden Age one. Which, thank God you can stop at the Golden Age arc and be satisfied with the ending you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got a Final Fantasy X Greek tragedy ending. Which I'm fine with. I love me some Greek tragedies. So,
of course.
There's a reason why people still enjoy Romeo and Juliet to this day. Greek tragedy. So, whatever the next review is that me and Libra do, will be another one, probably on anime. Because anime movies don't take that long. They take like 30 minutes for us to do. Because we just sit here and talk about what we enjoyed. And our closing thoughts is, I enjoyed Heaven's Field for it because it did everything right and the animation was gorgeous on the fight scenes. And even on the slice of life scenes was bloody gorgeous. It's a feast for the eyes. Your closing thoughts of Libra?
Oh, please go out and watch this. Go buy it, please. Buy it, watch it.
Would
You'll
you
like it.
also say that it has a lot of philosophical arguments? That makes you
Yes, it
think.
does. Yes,
And
the
that's
hell it does.
and that's also what, besides getting this glub glub good story and this glub glub good action, you also get scenes that make you think. And I enjoy a good show that will make me think. By the end of the episode, I'm like, was that philosophy right that Curie had? So yeah, go watch it, go buy it. This is your host, the Matter of Here signing off, Libra October, who just enjoyed the Fate Stay Night movies, Heaven's Field arc. Hopefully we'll do another one like this together. See you soon.